It's not a historical person. It's a form of alchemical process. If the Christ comes on the planet and is manifested in the pure Christ form, there would be no more earth. That is what the fucking Christ is supposed to be. To destroy known reality. Fuck the bullshit. Now, we want anybody want to challenge me on this shit, come with it. Because it comes out of the alchemical information, which is the royal art of Egypt, which is the study of nothing but melanin. And it is only through that melanin that crystallizes that seed, and that seed is on the lower intestinal tract inside of your body. And that's all that you are. Nothing else. This is your body. You got to understand this shit. This is your body. In spite of popular stuff, this is your body. This is the cross, the man on the cross. This is the lower intestinal tract, which is the serpent. Go down into Egypt, tan, teal, black, and find a pearl that resides under the ravenous serpent, which is the lower intestinal tract. This is who the fuck you are. This is all you will ever be. And this does not work based on cleanliness. It works and it gains its power only through decay. Decay, rot. Spiritual rot. The only way that this thing can take manifestation. It's rotten. Okay, this is some real interesting shit. It rots because number one, it's stuck under your lower intestinal tract. So it gains its energy through shit. Jesus, born in a manger. What is a manger? Shit.
Horses, cow.
Horses, cow, and manure. Jesus born in a manger. It's an esoteric story. Once he's born in the manger, now comes three wise men, which is the three major glands in the head, and Jesus raises up to another kundalini serpent fire and sits at the seat of the heaven of glory. Has nothing to do with diet. Nothing whatsoever. Now, am I trying to talk against what Philip Valentine was talking about yesterday? No, I'm not. One is another field and another system that we had to understand the science of being down here. It's best to have a good diet. That's just so your ass don't be walking around like this and shit. You done have a stroke and shit? You walk around like this. I'm all right now. That's all that means. But it works through decay. This is alchemy. This is called the Negrito stage. The Negrito stage. Black, the blackening stage. And it works. This is the key. It works, and it can only work. Now, this is some beautiful shit, because this means that we right on it. It can only take place. Number one, the race has to be old enough for it to take place, so it has to be the oldest race. So it has to be something that was here in the beginning to even make this manifestation. Okay? But it can only take place when a race comes to a racial senility or a form of insanity. And you start to decaying mentally and physically, socially, and every other kind of thing on the physical earth. Your deterioration, your degeneration, your putrid feces of a life is the ultimate cooking vessel for the Christ. That's what the Christ, that's called the suffering Messiah. The act of illumination has been taking place with you in the hells of North America. That's why the goddamn fake Jew is trying to corner the market on suffering. Because he's trying to be the suffering Messiah. But he just don't have a little bit of the juice or the gasoline to do it. He don't have the oil. You know, in the Bible they say they got 3 virgins with oil, 3 wise virgins with oil, and 3 stupid virgins with no oil. That's white people. Because oil is carbon, and carbon is the basis of melanin. So they are trying to corner the market. That's what I've been trying to tell you, why they got to take the Minister Louis Farrakhan and have him to apologize, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad identified that group of people. Number one, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did something very profound. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad came, and he was the first person to say, on a clinical psychological way, that there's a race of people that the entire race itself, by identity in the United States, is mentally ill based on what happened to them. You see what I'm coming from? As well as the brother on the fucking continent is mentally ill, as what happened to him in colonization. You understand what I'm saying? He's the first to do it. Nathan and Julia had told you about it in the 70s. Naeem Akbar and a couple of people was telling you about this in the early 90s, late 80s. But I told you the last tape that it was based on trying to locate Camelot, the New Egypt, right? And that New Egypt in the Camelot story that was brought up by the Moors, they talk about the Christ known as Galahad or Parzival. The Christ is the one that gets the Holy Grail. And the grail is the cup that bears the seed of Christ. Well, you know, they say the sister got a cup right here. You know what I'm saying? You got a cup. Let me show you what it really is. Y'all all right? Yeah. It's all right? This is what the cup is. If you take a pyramid, and it goes up. If you do this on it, you can see that's the head of the penis. You know all that based on all of your knowledge, based on what Dr. Ben and everybody was telling you about the obelisk. But there's an ancient symbol that the so-called white Jews adopted from the ancient black Hebrews. You see? And that symbol is the Star of David, which is 2 inverted pyramids. Well, we identified one pyramid, which is the male penis, but what is a woman? If a woman stands up with that booty, the other pyramid, which is the pubic hair, or even she didn't have her head pointed down. And if you look at that one for the real place, that's why it's also associated with doggone sexual. You do that? You get right there, you got the champagne glass. No. Okay? Wow. Now, the real mythology is the cup that bears the seed of Christ. The cup that bears the seed of Christ, which is the womb of the great mother. The martini. That's what I say, the martini glass. Right. You see how they do the glass like that? Because the family of that's the olive. Huh? Oh, the olive. Oh. See how you break codes? See how you break codes? That's what happens when you don't follow motherfuckers. Then the energy comes with everybody in the damn place. You see what I'm saying? That's why I was hell bent on when I first stepped up and some sisters told me down here too. Some sisters said, I'll follow your ass to Sirius. But I knew something was sick about us because in 1990, I was in a bookstore and I was dropping on a brother. Even before I started speaking, and the brother heard me for 30 minutes, and he said, brother, I'm ready to follow you. I can be a mass murderer. Come and kill up everybody in your goddamn house. Kill the dog. Kill everybody. And that's how I was sick. Because we're still trying to relate that old Stockholm syndrome of being up under somebody. So you break codes when we work together. Now, y'all all right? Yeah. So the Grail cup bears the seal of Christ. But this particular Grail cup, the Holy Grail is this seed or a cup, but it's also a Grail stone. In alchemy, you have the philosopher's stone, which is the stone, our stone, Jesus Christ. The stone that the builders rejected will become the cornerstone. Jesus is the rock of ages. If you go to the book of Revelation, it's an alchemical text. And you talk about all these stones, the white stone. The white stone is the seed of Christ, which comes from the black. And the black is this cup from the womb. This cup from the womb. Which in actuality has something to do with the most holy alchemical elixir that can only become an alchemical elixir when it becomes menstrual blood. Well, I ain't gonna get into that.
But break in 10 minutes. Break it.
Fucking process don't come when you have an alchemical coagulation of spiritual forces coming at one. And it can only come during a cycle of time. And you have that cycle every month. You got some good diets up in there. I want to know y'all motherfucking ass. Stop bleeding. I'm just, that's science. See what I'm saying? I'm just going by what time it is. You see what I'm saying? You take it or leave it alone. But the process can't happen until you have a coagulation of all these energies coming together. See what I'm saying? Because all these energies coming together. And then this elixir, because it is an alchemical process, the black woman used to take this blood and she made the whole ecological system. The ants, the bugs, and everything to fill up this terrain that was left barren. And it did it through this particular process. This same process went into building the Great Pyramids. But by this time, the males had studied the alchemical process and they was able to produce a white powder from the black powder substance. They can produce pure melanin, and then they can, from that whiteness, from that blackness, you get a white seed. And basically, the production of that powder, when these seeds come together, it make this white resin. Now, when the damn English or the British came into doggone Kemet in the late 1800s or the mid-1800s, they got a whole pile of this damn white substance. And all they knew, because it was in the pyramids, and all they knew was whatever this white substance was, if they added it to this bottle would float. If they added it to this damn table, it'll float. If they add it to this damn building, this motherfucker would float. So basically, if they add these large stones, they can push it just like you pushing a damn box down on an assembly line. Bam, you got your damn pyramids. That's in the occult realm. You see, that's in the occult realm. There's whole studies on that stuff, that white powder gold. The guy Gardner put out the whole articles in Nexus magazine.
Yeah, some books, right?
Yeah.
Holy Grail.
Yeah, the bloodline of the Holy Grail, but the Genesis and Grail came in the book, and also articles also too. In Nexus magazine also. But that's what that particular stuff from. But it has to come from an alchemical process, and the only process that produces it is the female body, which produces you, and you got a seed up in your ass. So that production that she produces, if it's not making a seed in the baby, it's making the seed for other productions. She got her own built-in fucking assembly plant of all the power there is. That's what the book of the law tells you. To the scarlet woman, all power is given to her. And if the seed is not trapped and turns into a baby, it flows. And the spice must flow. That's doom. That's melanin. Y'all getting this shit? Y'all getting this stuff?
Got it.
But every now and then something goes wrong. And the seed turns into a human and a baby. And you fucked up back in enrollment again in goddamn prison. The worst thing you can be on this planet is a human being trapped in a cycle of incarnation. Now I'm just going by, well, fuck the dumb shit. Well, we can somehow say this nigga crazy. Well, we can document the shit. That's what that's what the Egyptians was talking about. If you study, even the brother, remember the brother opened up for me, Karanjan.
Yeah.
We was up in there speaking and all, and he was like, yeah, he said, I believe they was trying to break this cycle of incarnation. I said, you got it, brother. That's what the Egyptians was trying to do. Trying to get the fuck off of planet Earth and doing time. That's why they favored the dead. So don't say this is crazy. That's what knowledge is. Knowledge is supposed to be ideas that you don't ponder. And they sound weird. That is what knowledge is. So that's what the whole Nag Hammadi library, which is the stuff that was translated from Coptic, from Egyptian into Coptic. So the whole Christ, Sophia, Mary and all that shit is Coptic that was borrowed by Rome and turned into a later day religion. But it was the Gnosticism. And the Gnosticism tells you that the worst thing you can be on this planet is a fucking baby. Now why do you say that? You say that's crazy as shit. Well, let's look at it this way. Let's say that you are W.E.B. Du Bois. Shake hands to Diop. I think it's some brilliant person. Let's say you John Henry Clark. An illustrious scholar. Let's look at it another way. And you go up and you lead a body and you go to that white light. And when you go to that white light, they take your ass and flip your ass back down here and you bounce around and you come back down as a baby. And he used to be John Henry Clark now, teaching your ass. Now he looking at this little cup. You give him a goddamn bottle. You give him a log of shit, he'll eat it. Okay? Then he grows up. He don't have that knowledge. Next thing you know, he walking out there in a miniskirt and shit, a crack hole. That's what incarnation can do to your ass. Russian roulette. And guess what? The latter part of what I told you, him being a crack hole, happens every 5 minutes. And the one, whether he being somebody that's trying to go with the forward spiritual manifestation of teaching somebody, is every 50 fucking years. Then you'll understand why the Chamites was talking about that incarnation was fucked up. And they was talking about, look towards the winter, the realm of the dead. That's what we got to get with. It's all about dying. Well, you think I'm crazy? I'm so crazy, motherfucker, gonna lead you down like Jim Jones. Drink the goddamn Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the goddamn Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid. This is rapper Jim Jones. Drink the Kool-Aid. He was on that microphone rap. He was the original rapper. 1978. What's the name came out in 77 or 78? Because this is actually the first rap song was the Fatback Band with King Tim the Third.
Yeah.
It came out about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks before the Sugar Hill game.
Yeah.
That was the second one recorded. But the original rapper was 1978. Telling a bunch of niggas to drink that goddamn Kool-Aid. Drink that Kool-Aid. Drink that Kool-Aid. Who was the CIA. Man. So I'm not talking about that. But if we're going to deal with the book of coming forth by day, the Tibetan book of the dead, the Upanishads, the Rig Veda, they all had the realm of the dead, which was outlawed in Rome 2,000 years ago. But I don't know what you're talking about. If you're a Christian, even Jesus had to fucking die to get his power. Okay? You get where I'm coming from here? So, this realm of the dead, you have to deal with it to break the incarnation. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you have to understand. See, we don't make this mistake no more because we saw this with the scholars in the Afrocentric thing. And like Carlick said, we can get 50 of us around a damn table and we won't agree on nothing. And what we don't understand is the law of relativity. Everything that we teach on is relevant to a certain degree. You see what I'm saying? In all. So my point is we're not talking about something being irrelevant. All of it is relevant. You just got to line shit up. And don't understand when you're hearing something that's totally polarizing from what you heard before, it's not that it's not. It's something that's contradictory. It's just that you got to deal with all multifacets. I'm just bringing you the other facet of this shit. You got to deal with the death realm. After all, that's the real inevitability, your tongue twister. It's inevitable that you deal with the death realm and have a fascination and a love with it. Like a lover. Not saying you got to kill yourself. See, I'm taking you on a whole another metaphysical state. Once you start pondering something and start studying something and you understand that. You understand what I'm saying? Then that means that in actuality it makes the life what you are doing, it just kind of take the edge off of shit that you worried about. If you done went to the dead realm, who gives a shit because you got your little toe cut off? Just kind of take the edge off, and that's how you win. You understand where I'm coming from here? You got to understand the science on what we're talking about here. So we're going to take a little break.
Take a break and come back.
So the people that want the ritual now, we got a ritual for everything. We got some of those left. We got the Osiris book, which is you think that shit was a little pamphlet? Anybody read some of that stuff? It gets real complicated, don't it? That's because that's some real deal shit. That's why it ain't out no more. So we got a few left, so don't leave it out there and don't leave it out the ritual. I'll let you decide. And you better get these CDs. So I ain't trying to do good. And you say, so we're going to take a break if anybody interested.
Bring it in before we have it.